Board of Trustees, February 13, 2019, to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the town clerk please call for roll?
Yes, Mayor. Trustee Wakeman?
Here.
Trustee Smith?
Here.
Trustee Burak?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Austin?
Here.
Mayor Woodcock?
Here.
Absent is Trustee Leron Ehrlich and Trustee Holly Trailer.
And next on the agenda is town clerk and chief. You two.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, members of the board, good evening. I'd like to introduce the newest member of the Milliken Police Department. His name is Alfredo Bocanegra, an added position that the board approved, one of the added positions, still got one more, but Alfredo relocated to Colorado from South Texas in 2014. After relocating to Colorado, he worked for Weld County up until he began the police academy at the Ames Community College in 2017. He attended the Ames Police Academy during 2017 and the 2018 school year and graduated as a top 5 of his class in May of 2018. He has since continued his education and pursuing his associate's degree in police studies with an expected graduation date of May of 2019. So good luck. Keep at it.
Okay.
I, Alfredo Bocanegra,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support
that I will support
and enforce
and enforce
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the state of Colorado
and of the state of Colorado
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
of the town of Milliken,
of the town of Milliken,
and shall faithfully perform
and shall faithfully perform
to the best of my abilities
to the best of my abilities
the duties
the duties
of police officer
of police
for
officer
the town of Milliken.
for the town of Milliken. Thank you.
Push hard. It's a rite of passage. Just push hard.
There you go.
Welcome. Use that taser well.
Not hers. Got a question, Chief.
Yeah.
What's our staff up to on the PD?
We're actually up to 11 officers right now. So
What were we about 4 years ago?
4 years ago, 8 or 9. Yeah. So get a lot of rooftops.
We're
So
growing.
yeah, we are growing. Milliken is growing. So yeah. So thank you.
Pretty good. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Now, the next thing is we have the award ceremony. It's gonna be the chief, and is everyone coming up?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, members of the board. Tonight, we would like to recognize and thank Lazy Days RV and their employee foundation that donates to nonprofit organizations, and for choosing our Milliken Young Community Leaders Program at the Milliken Police Department with a generous donation of $6,000. So, thank you. A little bit about Mickle. We started the program in about 2014, and we'll be celebrating our 5th year celebration, or our 5th year anniversary here in March. So, good job. Good job, Sylvia. Sylvia, good job. So we are excited that the donation will allow us to provide additional activities and resources. The money will go towards educational programming, life skills, leadership trainings, and also allow our youth to attend leadership conferences. We believe that by empowering our local youth through resources and positive relationships, we create future community leaders. So without further ado, so just real quick, these are some of the Mickle kids, Milliken Young Community Leaders that are in the program. They're also part of the Interact program from the high school. So we have an award that you're going to read. So if you want to come up here and go ahead and read that award, you can read. You want to read it here?
Appreciation Award presented to Lazy Days Employee Foundation Colorado Chapter in appreciation of your donation and support for our Young Community Leaders Program in strengthening community and building relationships. This award is gratefully presented by the Milliken Police Department on February 13th, 2019, and thank you so much for all that you do for our community.
Free advertising.
All right. Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Keep up the good work.
On the front.
Thank you.
Hey, have a good one.
South John, South John.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. More to come. More to come. We're not done. We're not done. Yes, ma'am.
It's nice.
It's really nice.
Generous.
Where's Lace out?
Where's ready?
I think they're off of,
All right.
off of I-25.
They're the ones over there that.
Agenda item 6, agenda approval. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No, move to approve.
Second.
Take your pick.
You want to call a roll call vote on that? Because it confused me.
No, we all seconded it, so.
Yeah. Just do it all in favor.
All in
We're done.
favor?
Aye.
Alrighty, citizens comment. Do I have any citizens comment at this time? No, no citizens comments. Moving on to the minutes of the previous meeting.
I do have an adjustment on C. I did not take a vote. Item C, so
Oh, I recused you and left you in
Yeah.
there?
unfortunately.
I did, okay. Thank you for catching that.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll have a motion. You want to get a motion?
Move to approve with the adjustment in section C.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's see. That is Town Administrator's Report. Town Administrator Tim Singold.
All right, I put together a report for the packet and tried to give you an update on the Josephine project with anticipated costs to date. It is a little confusing from the standpoint, the left-hand column shows checks paid to date, and we had a FEMA grant, and I subtracted those from the FEMA grant, showing what's left on the FEMA grant versus what our anticipated costs for the project are going to be. Leonard is working with Matt at the state, and we're coordinating with DeFalco and with Troy from ICON to come up with a written request when we have most of this firmed up in order to apply for additional grant funds that Leonard, in a conversation with Matt on the phone, was assured that we had a very good chance of getting. So we're going to get you a response back on whether or not they firm that up. I'd like to see that done sooner than later, because there have been some rumors that some FEMA money might be used for other projects around the country, so we're trying to get that done quickly.
Okay.
And then if you have any questions, I'd be willing to answer them. We did discuss this in the work session, and some of the implications to homeowners in the area that we'll follow up on.
All right. You guys got any questions for him?
Yeah, the contract on CDOT runs from July 1st to June 30th, so what happens between now and July 1st?
We operate as we have. All of CDOT contracts run July 1st through, for 1 year. They start July 1st. Additional conversations since then. Matt is quite concerned with the additional responsibilities that show up in the contract. Leonard had negotiated the contract previously and got that going from the standpoint that the town was doing a lot of the work and would like to get paid for some of it. And there is an understanding that major parts of that contract, replacing guardrails, some of the sign work, major patching in the road, major cement, issues like up here that the cement's cracked out of the highway. CDOT has agreed that they would do. What we are going to do, discussing it with Bill, we're going to identify those issues that already exist. I'm going to write a letter of my understanding of the meeting that we had, that those will be resolved prior to us taking it over. That it's my understanding they will mow a few times in the springtime to keep the weeds down before we take it over. And that if we have major issues, they are willing to take that over and help us with it. The contract does say that we will do it, but at the meeting, they were very adamant that it's in the contract, but they will help us on it, and Leonard was comfortable with that, and I thought I would follow up with a letter of understanding of our meeting so that it's addressed in a letter and it's in writing.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
No. Thank you.
Alrighty.
The other part of that isn't on the written administrator's report is I have gotten through about 2/3 of the drawers there and have been rearranging, resorting, and learning a lot from going through the administrator's office. There's items in there from 4 past administrators, and seeing all the different iterations over the last 4 or 5 years is enlightening. And Cheryl's helping me to make sure I don't throw anything important away. But that's all I would have. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item is on the action agenda, and is consideration for approval of ordinance 767, authorizing the mayor and town staff to apply to the board of directors of the Northern Colorado Water Conservancy District for a contract for water allotment and cancellation of certain prior temporary use permits. The town attorney, Linda Machow, is going to explain this one.
Mayor and the board, ordinance 767 is authorized under your municipal code and is required by state statutes and Northern Colorado Water Conservancy District's policy and regulations. My understanding is that the town's been operating or using 204 acre-feet units of CBT water through a temporary use permit,
and in accordance with the district's policy, those are required to be converted. So the purpose of the ordinance is to acknowledge that, to authorize the town to make application for an annual allotment contract, which essentially automatically renews upon the town paying the annual fee that they come up with. And I believe that payment is due every year by October 1. Forrest Leaf, your water engineer, has reviewed it and said it's consistent with their policy, and he has no concerns.
You guys have any questions?
It's for the same amount of water. And, I think the pricing will be whatever they come up with, but it doesn't change with respect to converting from this temporary use permit mechanism to the annual allotment contract.
Any questions? No? Questions on that?
We're only allocated so much water by the water board. This is included in that calculation?
Yes.
Then I'm not confused. Thank you.
I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve ordinance number 767, authorizing the mayor and the town staff to apply to the Board of Directors of the Northern Colorado Water Conservancy District for a contract for water allotment and cancellation of certain prior temporary use permits.
Second.
Town clerk, please come for roll. Call for roll. God, I'm tired.
Yes, sir. Trustee Burek?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Austin?
Yes.
Mayor Woodcock?
Yes.
Motion passed.
That's it for action agenda. Then there's discussion, nothing on there. The next thing is informational agenda. And we're gonna have Pepper come on up and give us a couple quick lowdowns.
Good evening, Mayor and trustees. On your agenda tonight is a status update for the Craig Sparrow Western Equipment and Truck floodplain violation. And I won't read through all of this, but I did give you a very comprehensive step-by-step what actions we've taken since December. Since your last meeting, I'll just focus on those. The things that have occurred are that the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment issued a stormwater permit. Both the town and the Army Corps of Engineers notified the applicant that we would allow work to be done to install the best management practices for that stormwater permit for bank stabilization and stormwater runoff control, but that the notices of violation and cease and desist orders remain in place, and that only that activity related to the installation of BMPs is allowed. On January 31st, the Army Corps of Engineers stated that they would allow that. They also have received the property owner's response to their notice of violation. The Army Corps has. They haven't provided any feedback on that, but the applicant has complied with their deadline of February 15th for that. Staff organized a multi-jurisdictional conference call with all of the cooperating agencies on the 7th of February so that we could discuss coordinating actions and the various regulatory requirements from each agency to make sure that we're in sync with each other. As a result of that, we have tentatively scheduled a joint site visit for February 19th for the agencies to go out and view the property and have discussion with the property owner. And then the last thing I'll call your attention to is the letter from FEMA and the Colorado Water Conservation Board acknowledging the efforts that the town has made and reassuring us that as long as we continue with this course of action, that FEMA will not pursue sanctions on the community. So everything's moving along with that. As well, I also have an update for you for the requested recap of the expenses and the chargeable expenses thus far. I have a new bill that came in since this was published. Currently, we're at $4,016.40 for our two engineers and our attorneys, and staff has devoted approximately 224 hours towards this effort.
I do like how you've laid out your chart. It certainly met and exceeded my expectations. Very well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Carrie put the spreadsheet together for me, made it easy.
Really nice.
Any other questions on that?
No, it sounds like you guys are on it. Thank you very much.
Are we only billing them $10 an hour? We got 85 hours here, $825?
I did not include any dollar amounts for staff because I'm salary, but I did include the amount of hours that I devote to it and the expenses from those that we do have to pay out of our budget that doesn't cover this.
All right.
But as long as you calculate your hours, we can put a price to it at some point.
Got it.
Thank you
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for being so thorough. Do you guys have any other questions for? before- No? No?
Not on that.
I don't.
Next one, the open house.
The open house. So per our joint work session with the Planning Commission on the 30th of January, the overwhelming input that we received is that we need a little bit more public engagement. And so we have set an open house. We have advertised this. It will be next Thursday, the 21st. Our consultants will be available to do a presentation. The format will be 2 presentations. We'll do one at 5:30 for the folks that are there when we open, followed by Q&A. We'll do a second presentation for the folks that are still commuting and haven't quite made it to the meeting at 6:30, followed by another Q&A.
Are you offering refreshments?
Yes.
I'd put that on there if I was you.
Okay.
It attracts, seems to attract people when you offer.
Oh, we did leave
food.
that off. Thank you. We'll add that.
Have we been sharing this on social media pretty hard?
It's on Facebook. Yeah. It's been posted around town, and we'll put it in the breeze.
Thank
I
you.
don't tweet.
Thank you for doing this.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, before we move from Pepper's report, I just want to point out, in case any of you missed it, that Pepper has done a remarkable job on this project and follow-up, and there was a letter from FEMA that was in your packet. It says, if the community continues to work towards compliance, continues to coordinate, discuss, and provide documentation to FEMA and CWCB on the actions taken and that are planned, FEMA will not pursue sanctions on the community. It is the goal of FEMA to work with and support the community on this matter. I think Pepper has done a wonderful job, and the board should acknowledge that.
We agree.
Yes.
All a day's work. Thank
We've
you.
said it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have anything else informational? No?
No.
That's it for the regular agenda. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Sound like
Aye.
We're adjourned at 6:51.